Well, all right, everyone. It's 7 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock Pacific time. I'm not sure where time it is where you're at, but it is time to get started with our Queen and Company Christmas in July event. So, welcome for those of you who are here. I see a few of you are popping into the chat already. I do have access to the chat, so I can hopefully read your comments tonight and keep in touch with your questions and anything that you want to know from me. I can hopefully get answered. So Pamela, Beverly, Deborah, Kim, Cindy, if you have access to the chat, go on and say hello. And I am grateful you are here. My name is Ginger Williams. I am the lead art designer for Queen and Company, and I am super excited for tonight. It is nearly the end of July, but that does not mean that the Christmas in July is in any way coming to a close. We are, in some ways, just getting started. Looks like you can all hear me okay, and I see everyone saying hello. Looks like we've got people from all over: Utah, Ohio, California, New Hampshire. So welcome, everybody. In case you didn't know, I come to you live from Texas, where it is a nice, wonderful, steamy, 95 degrees or so today. It is definitely the dog days of summer here. So I'm grateful for our Queen and Company Christmas in July to help bring a little bit of that festive, cooler feeling. You're currently looking at my desk, but let's go ahead and transition to some of what we're going to talk about tonight. We have some amazing, fun new products launching. And you may have noticed in our store, of course, that we have already been doing Christmas in July all month. We've been having some of our older products released that we've restocked due to popular demand. And if you've been in the store, then you've seen that. But we have some wonderful new things for tonight. So you're currently looking at our brand new Christmas Characters Shaker Card Kit. And then we will also be talking tonight about our brand new 2 foundation sets, Foundation Set 40 and Foundation Set 41. So we'll be taking a closer look at how you can use these 2 new sets and how they look in conjunction with our new Christmas Characters kit to kind of give you a feel of what you can do with them and how well they would blend and be beautiful and fun for any of our kits that you wanted to work with and use these brand new foundations with. Let's see. Hello, Ginger from Irving, Texas. Nice. Wonderful. Welcome, Jerry Lynn. Good to have you. It's nice to actually have you guys join me live. I get to see so many of you in the Facebook group all the time. So many wonderful, familiar names. I wish I could actually see all of you. That would be fun to be able to do it in person. We've got almost, 80 of you joining me right now, and hopefully a few more will jump on. I wish we could be in a big classroom where I could actually see and talk to you and come around to your tables and see things that maybe you were working on at the same time as me. We'll have to make do with Facebook Live tonight, but maybe someday in the future we'll ever get a chance to do something in person again. I would love that. Okay, so one more bit of just housekeeping before we jump into some other things tonight is that we do have our Christmas in July sale still going on, which is a fantastic and really generous 25% off site-wide, not statewide, site-wide. And of course, a freebie with purchase for tonight, this fabulous ombre pearl set with all kinds of beautiful gradients and all of the different pearlies, which make wonderful shaker toppings. Some of my absolute favorites are the pearls. I see some of you also are mentioning our in-person classes. If you've ever been to a Queen and Company in-person class from way back in the day, drop that into the chat and what state that was in. I see Sandy says she missed the old classes in person. I got to go to a few of them before COVID kind of shut that down. That was a lot of fun. I went to the Queen and Company, the Queen for a Day in Chicago. Some of you might have been there back in 2019. All right, let's take a look at some of the things about our new products in person. So, and I guess I should have mentioned too, obviously this is going to be before discounts. If you're going to get that free topping set, you got to put that $100 in. Your 25% off will bring your total down. Make sure you get to 100 after the discounts. Rewards, you can't use that if you're going to get the freebie. You either get the rewards or the freebie, depending on how you place your order. Actually, I think the 25% off is automatic during the Christmas in July. So rewards would have to be used at a different time. And of course, there's all kinds of disclaimers on the website explaining all that, so you can go there for more information. These are my cards with our new set. Let me move those out of the way. We'll get a closer look at some of that later. Let me just give you an up-close look at the things that are happening in the actual kit. So let me pull it up here. At the moment, I am short on my usual containers that I typically store my kits in. I've got more on order, but right now I'm just in a plastic baggie, but that's all right. Many of you probably store yours in plastic bags too. I'm sure I'm in good company. But let's take a closer look at the Christmas Characters Kit. If you've been on the website, then you have seen the adorable cards and samples that the design team has been working on. But let's start here with first just going through the shapes in this kit. You've probably noticed on the website that there's only one actual shaker shape. And it's this fun little, beautiful little ornamental sign. I'm going to call it a sign, even though it could be anything really, but I'm going to call it a sign because we have it designed that you can actually stamp all of your sentiments inside of the shaker for this one. And then we have all of our fun little characters. You've got your Santa, and you've got your gingerbread man or gingerbread baker this time, your reindeer, your elf, and of course your snowman there. And they are, in many ways, they're holding your sign or peeking out from behind it, however you want to look at it. But we've got these various different shapes that you can then take the sign and customize however you want to do that. There's also some really fun things in this kit where you get not only the shaker, which of course you could blend with a lot of our other kits. It's not just for this particular kit. It would work very well with many of our other dies. But you also kind of have some fun little decor items here with this little fun greenery swag and a little bit of kind of a holly sprig there to go on top of it for the Christmas vibe. And then as you may have seen from our design team too, you also kind of have a little accent here with your snowman. He's got a little snowflake for his hat, but that snowflake was a perfect size for many things. And I know I used it a bunch on the my card samples as an embellishment, and so did many of our other designers. So a lot of great fun dies in this kit. And you can see, of course, you do get the die guide, which will lay out exactly how you build each one of your little characters. And of course, that is included in the kit. Now let's take a closer look at the dies. You can see them in person instead of tiny on that little die guide. You get a feel for the size of them. So one of the great things about this kit is with it only having one shaker shape in it, then it just makes sense for us to include the outline die in the actual kit. So rather than a separate purchase, the outline die is included. I know that's always a favorite when we actually have a chance to do that. And there is your shaker die, so you can kind of get a feel for, about the size of your palm of your hand, just slightly under that. And you can use it in both orientations. It's designed to go this way with the stamp set, but of course you could do other things with it that way too. And there's your other little die for the swag and things. So, so there's those. And you can see when I get my kit, I separate everything out. So I've got my dies in different baggies based on their shape, based on the die guide. So I'll go through and pull them out. Occasionally we'll have dies that will count for more than one shape. I don't think, other than the shaker, this one is all individual, so you won't have any overlap of shapes used for various characters. But these here, for example, are the gingerbread baker. You can see the body shape there. And then there's individual dies in there for his hat. And he's got a cute little bow tie here. And actually you could use that as an embellishment as well, the little heart or the bow that comes with his little set. The little heart's meant to go on his hat. And I'll show you that in a little bit on the samples. But there are some fun little accent dies with the pieces here. This one, I don't know. It looks adorable put together, but it's kind of a weird shape for the elf head in that particular set. I think he looks a lot better with his Santa hat on. Looks almost a little bit like maybe a Harry Potter Dobby or a Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I don't know. It's a weird shape until you get him all dressed up, but he's very, very cute once you get him all dressed up. And he does have a cute little Santa hat of his own. Actually, I've got this in the wrong bag. This little shape right here is actually kind of our little holly berries. Let me get it back in its baggie. So even the baggies don't keep me foolproof. Sometimes they still get mixed up, but they work pretty well for me. If you have a way that you like to store the dies, drop that in the comments. I would love to see what you do with your dies and how you sort or don't sort, or however you decide to actually store your dies. That would be fun to hear. If you would drop that in the comments, I'll go back and read that when we're done. This is a look at the reindeer, and he has a fun little snout, followed by a little tiny nose die, which is here, just to give you a feel for how that would come together. One of the things that you might like in this kit, depending on how you like to craft, is that based on feedback, we're hearing that many of our customers really enjoy having the eyes for our characters be stamps as opposed to dies. So this particular kit, the eyes are pretty small. Let me pull up one of my cards here. The eyes are pretty small. And so we decided that this time we'll just do stamps. And so your stamp set, which we'll talk about a little bit more in just a second, does actually include 2 sets of eyeballs, a large and a small. And we also had room for a little heart in there. So if you like that kind of a stamp embellishment, you can use that too. But you'll find that if you prefer to stamp the eyes, then you'll be very happy with how easy it is to put that onto your little face. Put your face together on your little or characters, I should say, not animals, characters. So we'll go back to the stamp set in just a second. First, let's take a look at the papers. So our papers come like this. These are now our new loose leaf style, with a little bit thicker than our old style, and a little bit more of a, I wouldn't even call semi-gloss, in between semi-gloss and matte finish. As you may have heard from other places, many of the paper printers in the United States, at least, we've had some that have gone totally out of business and stuff. So we've had to choose different manufacturers. And so that's given us a few different options to try. And we've settled on this for now, which we're getting really great feedback from many people from. They like the thicker paper and they like how beautiful the colors are saturated with this new printer. So we're going to keep using them for the time being. But if we find something different, we may continue to experiment. But for right now, this is the way that the paper pads do come, including our most of our refills on things now are going to come from this printer. But I wanted to show you how fun this double-sided paper pad is. You do have kind of a fun little kind of brownish color. Could be cute for your gingerbread man or your reindeer. Let's see. But lots of patterns too. So here's the flip side of that. So you get your dotted brown on one side, dotted red on the other. Fun little holly berries on this side, and just some white and black snowflakes. Red, kind of a gingham plaid almost. And then on the other side, or flip side, kind of a frosty blue dotted. Small thin lines. Nice, pretty, bright green. Polka dots. And a fun little red tone on tone. Some more snowflakes in kind of that minty color. And then this is one of my favorites. Check out the fun little candy canes here in various colors on black. Black I often don't put into Christmas papers, but sometimes it just calls for it and it's stunning. Some fun Christmas trees and some tone on tone green, kind of like pine and holly berries. And then more stripes in a little bit wider size than the last one. And then kind of that same pattern, but in much larger on a black and white. So you're getting that fun kind of deep reds and blacks in high contrast. So this makes for a very fun collection of papers, a little different than many of the other Christmas papers that we've done in the past. So that's the Christmas Characters paper pad set included in the kit. And let's take another look at that stamp set. Also, I'm going to scroll through the comments here for a bit too, so I can see. Let's see. Okay, got them to come back up. There we go. Let me know what you think about having the dark papers in a Christmas set. Are you a fan? Not a fan? Is it nice just to have something different? I don't know. You let me know. But here is the stamp set. And like I mentioned before, they are sized perfectly to fit inside of our foam shakers, which I should pull up. You get a bunch of these in the kit. Let me open this up so you can see. There are 6 sheets, but each sheet of foam has 2, so you get 12 shakers and 12 of the acetate covers. And let me just show you how well these are designed to fit your stamp so that you have room not just for the stamp, but also for your little shaker embellishments to all be in there together. So there's the size of your shaker, and these are the size of your stamps. So sending love this Christmas and always. Have a holly jolly Christmas. Let's bake up some holiday cheer. I'm so glad I have a friend like you. Have a warm and cozy holiday season. Let's see what we got here. Sending holiday hugs. Christmas is love with all the trimmings. Pardon my previous stamping. The red always stains my stamps a little bit. Merry Christmas, dear friend. And of course, we've got our D-E-E-R. That goes with our reindeer. A little pun there. Merry Christmas. Christmas is sweeter with family. Wishing you the best of times this Christmas. And you are definitely nice list material. Because all of our Queen & Company customers are nice list material, right? And of course, the aforementioned eyes and heart stamp. So that is the stamp set. Simple, nothing too punny. We kept it a little more generic this time. I love our puns, but sometimes it's nice to have some that are a little more just sweet sentiments, a little more standard. So let me push that foam back in there. So that is how those come together. And like I said, there's plenty of room for your shaker toppings. And that is the last thing I'm going to show you here. There are 7 toppings in this kit, and they are some of my favorites, like we mentioned before. Not the ombre pearls, but just the regular pearls. And you get them in sets that match the colors of the papers, of course. Red, green, blue, beautiful, pretty, like chocolatey brown, almost like a bronze almost, silver, black, and a pearly white. So those are the toppings for this particular kit. And there's lots in there. Matter of fact, I'll show you, this is my refill kit, but I had plenty of fun making lots of cards, and you can see I still have quite a few of the toppings left. So that's the ones I already opened before. So you'll be surprised how far those toppings will go, even in those somewhat large shakers. Okay, so I'll take you back over to my computer and let's look at some design team samples with this particular kit. Let me open that up and let's transition over so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so here is Marianne's work, just putting our little characters together so that we could see all the different, this was basically her testing to make sure everything looked good when it's assembled. And then, of course, she took a adorable picture of it. So there is a look if you want to see all the characters assembled all together. You may have already seen that in our Facebook group or on our Facebook page. And here are some samples. Now, Marianne, I'm not sure why her little name on the bottom isn't coming through, but I'll tell you, if you don't see the name at the bottom, this is Marianne's work, and she did a fabulous job with all of her samples, as always. But isn't this cute? Oh, and I should mention, too, that you're going to see a lot of foundation 40 and 41, and a little sneak peek of 42. 42 got worked into this particular set of cards a little bit, so if you're wondering why you might see a die cut or two on some of these samples that you're like, I'm not seeing that on the website yet, it's coming up. It's going to be in 42. But most of the samples here are going to focus on 40 and 41. So a little sneak peek, as you can see here on Marianne's card, this one will be in 42. But right now, let's focus on her cute little elf. You can see how cute he does look with the hat. I love that his little hat kind of has a more of a whimsical look to it than your traditional Santa hat. And I love that her card has all of these beautiful, fun red and green embellishments as well. You can see how she used her little sprig and berry dies up here as a little accent on the side of her card. And you can see this is actually coming up that we'll talk about in foundation. I think that's 40. What was that, 40 or 41? I think it was 41. But super cute elf card from Marianne. Oh, and I should say too, I also love that she put bling, like little bells, on the bottom of his little collar there. Super cute. All right, and this one from Linda. Merry Christmas, dear friend. Leaning into that pun with her cute little reindeer. Love, love, love it. And she's got another look at 41 in there as well. But her cute little reindeer, and I'm thinking, from what I can tell, and if Linda, if you're on, you can confirm for us, it looks to me like she cut her little red nose out of mirrored cardstock. It looks like red mirrored cardstock, which probably looks amazing in person, and perhaps her little berries are too. I don't know. But I think that would be really cute. So even if it's not red mirrored cardstock, I think that's a great idea, and I'll bet it makes it look in person just amazing. Okay, one from me. This is the snowman. And I guess I should mention about this kit too that, of course, the characters are designed to peek out from or hold our little shaker signs. However, I really was excited about designing this set of characters because frequently when you're designing characters, it can be difficult to turn them into a shaker. You've seen us use the bodies as shakers, clothing as shakers, faces as shakers. We've done all kinds of things. But sometimes you have shapes that don't always work as a shaker anywhere. And so I thought, well, how fun will it be to maybe we'll start with just a basic shaker sign, and then we'll see if this is a popular concept. If you guys like it, perhaps we could grow this line of non-shakers that peek out from behind. I almost call them maybe more like a shelf sitter, or because we're just doing the upper body part, right? It's going to peek out from behind. But as you can see on this card, I've got some dies there from our new foundation set. That's where this frame, this fun oval frame, comes from. And then I just wanted my snowman to be able to peek out from inside there. This is a non-shaker card. Even though I did kind of raise it up, I probably could have easily turned that die into a shaker. But I wanted the fun little characters to be able to poke out from behind a sentiment, whether that's shaker or non, or from inside all of our various dies. The foundation dies have such a fabulous set of choices nowadays that you can do all kinds of fun things with non-shaker dies too. So we may lean into this a little bit more and give you guys some other options besides just shaker characters. We may have blend that with our shakers in other ways. So fun. Let me know what you think of that. If that's something you want to see more of, let us know. All right. Another look at the snowman. This one here, like I mentioned, from Mary Ann, this is Mary Ann. And you can see how she actually got her shaker to fit on the A2 card going in landscape instead of portrait orientation. And she's got one of our fun new dies that was one of my absolute favorites, peeking out from behind them here. So a couple of them actually. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So, and I love how fun the little carrot nose is on the snowman. It's really big and oversized and gives a lot of fun, whimsical look to his expression. All right, and from Linda, how cute is this? And I love that rather than leaning into the garland that comes in the kit, she went to one of our holiday foundations kits and pulled in one of the little Christmas trees from our most recent holiday foundations last year. Really, really cute that he's holding the tree on top of their little shaker sign. I love that she put some little fun candies in here too that pulls into the idea of the candy canes. Ooh, sorry, losing my voice already. Hold on just a second. I take a little drink. Ooh, there, that's better. Okay, so here you can see how fun. I love that she kind of leaned into that kind of minty, frosty look and feel for her cute little Santa card. So beautifully done, Linda. And look how cute Marianne's reindeer is. Love the red nose. Love that she also went to that same holiday foundation set to bring in some accents. And I love her stars. I always lean so hard into snowflakes for Christmas cards, but I should branch out like Marianne. She's good at branching out, and I love that she tied in these beautiful little stars. Super cute. I love the collection of various embellishments in her little shaker. Super cute. And I love that you can see the fun Christmas tree paper through and inside her shaker. So, you know, she obviously took her sentiment down out of the shaker, which of course you can totally do, and just left her shaker be a fun little, I don't know if you'd call it center point. Center point with her reindeer. Together, they're the center point, right? Focal point for her card. Adorable. Here's another look from me about not putting them on a shaker. Like I was mentioning before, they can poke out from just about anywhere. Here they are just poking, you know, my little gingerbread baker is coming out from behind just my sentiment. So I wanted to show that you could go outside the box literally, or recreate the box if you wish, with these fun characters, using them however you want. We have some fun frames and some fun like openings in some of the foundation dies. And I thought these little characters would be a fun way to use them and give you an additional option of how you could use these. Also, you can look behind here. This is a fun new die that is coming from Foundation 41, I believe. Is it 40 or 41? Yeah, okay, the long one's in 40, and the shorter one to go horizontally across an A2 card's in 40. But you can see this is like a fun little wave instead of going straight up and down. So and this kind of, the center kind of covers it a little bit, but you can see how fun this fun little wave is that goes across your card, either vertical or horizontal, depending on which foundation set you use. But I love that it kind of helps move the eye across the card in a different way. So a fun peek at that foundation set. And another elf card, this one from Linda. And again, pulling in those same foundation dies from the Holiday Foundation 2 set, I believe. Really, really cute. And again, I'm kind of looking at her red here, and I'm thinking, again, she's got more of that mirrored cardstock, I think. It's really, really cute. Good color combination, too. Look how she leaned away from the dark colors and into the mints and the reds. That's really pretty. It gives it a different look. And I kind of did something similar. I went with the mints and the greens and the reds for this cute little reindeer card. And I didn't do mirrored cardstock, but of course he does have to have a red nose, right? It's Rudolph, right? All right, let's see. Here is another one from Mary Ann with her gingerbread baker. And here you can, see how fun these little embellishment dies are on there. You get your fun little frosting for his little hands. You get the cute little bow tie for his neck and the cute little heart for his little baker's hat. And that baker's hat, of course, could be used in other places. We've had a baker on one of our other kits too, but that one was a little bit bigger. This one's that one's actually a shaker too. And this one is just a plain die. So you can use it on other characters as well, perhaps. Very, very cute. And again, you can see another way that she's used this fun little sprig over here on the right-hand side. And a Santa Claus card, this one from me. Again, showcasing one of our fun new dies in Foundation Set 41, I believe. And you can see I leaned into those snowflakes like I told you. This one here is actually in the kit. And this one here is from Holiday Foundation number 1. I just like to have a couple different sizes. And here you can see I've got leaning more into those darker colors. And Marianne, I think you guys have probably all seen this one on our website or on our Facebook page. We used it as the banner to promote tonight's live because it was just stinking adorable. I love that she put all 3 of them on one card. I love that she used the little fun swags dies that come in the kit in order to kind of give herself like this fun little wreath that they're almost poking out from behind. I love that she shows, again, non-shaker is an option, and that she can use some of our other foundation dies for them to peek out from behind. Is exactly what I was hoping our design team would kind of have fun playing with. So really, really cute. And I love that she got 3 on a card. I didn't think 3 would fit, but it does. It looks really cute. So, and I love their little hands, holding on to the little wreath here. So cute. Great way to add a sentiment too. I don't know if I would have thought of that, but it's super cute to have the little tag end coming out here from the bottom with her cute little stamp on it. Love it. And this is adorable. Linda, good job. This is so cute. I just love that you added our little gingerbread men from, I think that's Homemade Holiday, I believe, as like a little accent. And how cute is it to mix it with this sentiment? Christmas is sweeter with family. Like it's like your little gingerbread family. It's so cute. So really, really darling. I love how that turned out. And I love that she got her pretty little rolling pin with like little dots on it. Kind of reminds me of some of the rolling pins that have, designs that you can roll into your dough. It's just really cute. All right. Oh, I think we already saw that Santa card. Somehow it got in here twice. There we go. Different Santa card. This one from Marianne. And this one's really cute. Look how well she's leaned into this like red and black motif. She's got the red and black inside of her shaker, the red and black papers. It just shows you that the paper pad is very versatile and that you can actually really pull in different looks just by what papers you pick. And, that's not unusual for our paper pads, but I loved seeing how our designers lean into the various color schemes of the paper pad and came up with some really great and fun designs. Okay, so that's it for our focus on the Christmas characters. But I wanted to let you know, as always, how much I appreciate it when you come and watch my live. And so this I'll be adding to our Facebook group files, our Queen and Company Royalty Facebook group. I'll be adding that after I finish tonight. And you can go in there and download this. And it is a set of sketches designed just for this particular set Christmas characters, along with 40 and 41. I don't think the elf card, nope, none of the new dies on the elf card, but every one of the other ones uses at least one, if not more, of the new dies in 40 and 41. So you can get a chance to kind of get a feel for how you might use those and how they might blend with some of our other foundation die sets and how they would work to give you some instant ideas. If you want to recreate my cards, you can just quickly pull that sheet up and get right to work and get a bunch of Christmas cards done really, really quickly. So that bonus will go in there and you can download that right after we finish tonight. So if you pick up 40 and 41 and the Christmas characters kit, of which there is a bundle, which I believe you save, I believe it's $9 if you get the bundle. If you pick that up, then you can go download this and be all set, ready to jump in and make a bunch of Christmas cards. Okay, so let's go back over to my desk and I'm going to show you, oh, wrong one. Sorry. There we go. Let me show you a closer look at the actual foundation dies. And that way you can kind of get a better feel for the size of them. And we'll talk about some of the things that are included in them. I know I gave you a pretty good overview just by going through samples, but let's talk about them in a little bit more detail. Let's start with 40. Let me pull up the actual dies as well. There's some fun and unique things in 40 that I want to talk about. Let's see. Maybe I'll turn it sideways. Maybe it'll show up a little better on screen. Okay. So as we saw on some samples, this one here is a fun new frame die that gives you that oval center as well as the rectangle. And of course, you could layer other foundation dies to create something similar, but I really wanted you to have a die like that that would be a really nice one-step easy frame that would also give you a nice, this is from Foundation 8. This is a full A2, right? So if you wanted to see how nicely, it'll still give you a good gap all the way around the edge to really showcase, a fancy pattern paper or something like that, or just a bright, bold border from a solid piece of paper or something, or solid colored piece of paper. And a nice cutout that's a good size for a lot of our shakers, or like I showed you in this kit, some of our characters, or a nice, pretty large sentiment or sentiment die. It would also, of course, work very well in this orientation. We have some really nice sentiment dies that would fill that really well from some of our endless kits. I don't know, all kinds of options. So a fun new shape, new frame that gives you a good way to showcase some fun papers. And if you want to, I don't know, it's one of my favorite things to do, to let a paper show in one place and then also in a second place, just to let it peek out somewhere. So that is one of the dies in 40. This one is probably my favorite die from 40. And you saw that on some of the samples here. Let me show you again. This is probably one of my favorite cards too, but you can see how cute this fun little open circle border is around the edge. It die cuts beautifully, and it just gives you another little bit of texture and a little bit of different, I don't know, just a different look, different border look compared to some of our regular stitching. And it's just a good focal point holder. It's just a great eye catcher. One of my favorite new dies. It's a great big size. You can see compared to my hand how big it is. And I still have little pieces in there I need to poke out, but a really great die that gives you lots of fun options for really focusing in on your focal point. Let's see, and as we talked about before, both of these new sets have this new shape in it that is like a wavy border that goes all the way across your card. Let me pull up one I already die cut earlier so you can see how that turns out. So on an A2 card, let me pull up a base. You can kind of get an idea. If you were only using one of them, you can see just how wavy it is. With some of the objects that I put in the middle of my card, maybe it was a little harder to see just how wavy it is, but it's a really good size wave. And so you could do all kinds of rainbow type stuff. You could do all kinds of like hills, or I don't know, all kinds of different ways to make a fun little new way to have a border across your card, a different shape than we've had before. So that's that one. Let's see what else we have. Another great, just large focal point piece. Maybe I'll leave this here so you can see how much of the card it takes up. We just kind of needed some other new fun, large, focal point holders. If you're using Queen & Company products and we have just so many large shakers or things that really are the focal point of your card, and you just need a good placeholder of all different kinds. So a fun new shape for that. And of course, we love our borders. This was a great fun little border. Gives you kind of a fun lacy look. And there's a idea of what it would look like cut out. Fun little lacy, scalloped, circly like look. Nice to have some fun new options. And then you may have our previous little bubble dies. We had a bubble and frame die set that was popular and very cute, but we call it the sentiment bubbles in that particular die set are on the larger side. And so I was like, oh, we need something a little smaller because a lot of our sentiments are on the smaller side. That way we can accommodate our large shakers, right? And so I thought, how fun would it be to include in both of these sets some new little bubbles, sentiment bubbles for our cards in a smaller size. So you've got this particular set here from 40 is more of a rectangular, and then we'll show you these here from 41, which are round. So just some fun different shapes. And how cute would that be, even just to cut out a bunch of them, a bunch of fun little sentiments with something along the bottom. Be cute. So there's those. And then just a new scalloped circle shape. We have a lot of circles in our foundation die sets, but we don't have anything quite this small in the scalloped. And this just makes a nice little addition to that. It's a good frame for a lot of our other smaller circles in other sets. And then just some fun new accents. These aren't flowers and they're not gears. And they're just kind of a fun little spiky little accent. Fun especially for like a guy card or just, I don't know, something fun to give a little attention, something different in the embellishment dies. All right, that is 40. So let me pull up 41. Let's look at this first. I'll turn it sideways so it'll fit on the screen better first. But this is 41. And like I mentioned before, we have another one of my favorite new dies is this one here, which, when you cut it out, it'll be opposite. It'll be like this, right? but it gives you this really, really great one corner rounded and one-sided little circle, what would you call that? Textured circle cut out on just one edge of your rectangular die. And that gives a great little fun focal point with a fun play on things to give you kind of an asymmetrical look to things. So many of our dies are symmetrical, like some of the other ones I'll show you in a second, but this one's a fun asymmetrical look with a fun feel with that rounded cutout border on one side only. So there's that one. And just like in the other set, there are some great fun new tall or wide focal point pieces. This one just has our traditional stitched outline around the edge. And then this one here has that kind of a newish one. We've kind of been including this since the late 20s on some of our dies. It has kind of a little dimpled border around the edge and then a little embossed inner line. So another look, a little different from the others. If you ever see our papers here and wonder why is it red, that's just showing embossing. So rather than actually cutting into your paper, it's embossing. And then another large square with rounded corners, just a different size than any of our others. Again, large. I'm just trying to have more of these fun, large focal point holders. And then just like in our other set, you have this great, fun new, sorry, still losing my voice a little bit from talking. It's dry here in Texas right now. But another fun little wavy border that goes across your cards, this time for the 4 1/4 side, whereas of course the one from 40 is for your 5 1/2. So you can see that would not quite work. However, I did see many of our designers actually use it just as an accent. It doesn't have to go all the way across. And of course you can change its orientation if you just want it to be a fun little wavy place to stamp something or a little accent. I think Marianne did that on one of her cards, and maybe Linda too, if I remember. And then just like we talked about before, you've got these fun new bubble dies in various sizes, quite a bit smaller. Actually, let's put that card base underneath it again. Quite a bit smaller than the ones in the bubble and frames. Bubble and frames are pretty large, and these are just a little bit on the smaller side compared to those. So you can fit your various sentiments inside of them a little easier, at least the smaller ones can. So that is 41. And just like with our other foundation die sets, we do, of course, include sketches. I'm sorry, that doesn't quite fit on the screen, but that's close enough, I guess. There is 40, giving you some ideas. If you only have set 40, if you're new to Queen Company and go, oh, I don't have any other set, that's okay. It doesn't matter. You have lots of great fun options for how you can use the accents, the borders, the large focal points, the wavy dies, ways you can stamp sentiments on even just that fun little new scalloped size. It's also kind of a good size for sentiments. And then here's 41. You can kind of see that one up there. Fun ways to use some of those new focal point holders, the wavy dies in the other orientation. So lots of fun new ideas of how you could use just those particular dies if you only had those. Or if you just want to pull those out and just say, hey, let's get to work and let's just go for, set 40. I don't want to pull out tons of other dies. Let's just see what we can do with one particular set. It gives you some fun ideas. And of course, you can always mix and match with our other foundation dies too. Okay, let's take a look at a few more samples with these particular dies. Here we go. From Marianne, you can see here both her wavy fun border across the 5 1/2 inch side of her card, as well as one of those fun new focal point pieces behind her very cute little Christmas Highland cow. And then also the small little scallop. You can see what size that is. And she's also layered several of those fun little accents too. So all kinds of great little fun dies in here. And also from Marianne, this one is a fun soldier card. And I believe she told me this one opens, I think. She was doing some fun things with cards that are interactive, including some spinners too. So she said she'll have some videos for us. But there is a new, let's see, is this 40 or 41? I believe this is from 41. The tall and skinny. We needed more orientation that was a little bit more on the skinny side for some of our shakers. And this beautiful soldier is exactly one of the reasons why, right? Our little nutcracker there is you have a chance to be able to have something that fits his skinniness. Whereas some of our wider dies are not a good fit for that. They're better for other shapes. So a nice skinny addition to it. You can also see one of the borders, a scallop border here on the side. And she actually put the sentiment underneath with the arrow pointing up, which is cute. I would not have thought to do that, but it's a good way to use that die too. Okay, and also from Marianne, you can get another look at that fun oval frame, as well as those fun new little accent dies, and another look at how well those new bubble dies work for many of our stamp sets. Very cute reindeer card. And this one from Linda. She's actually layered our brand new, very large, rounded square with that same exact long and skinny foundation die set. So beautiful, beautiful. I love that she's layered up her Christmas tree too. It has like extra dimension by having extra layers up here. Really, really cute. And again, from Mary Ann, another fun look at all of their fun waves. She went all the way across from one end to the other with her fun waves, as well as layered that beautiful new oval frame on top of the waves, which is super cute and gives a lot of movement to the card, draws your eye across it. You can see one of the fun new bubble dies. You can see the way that the fun, I think this is from All Bundled Up Snowman, right? Fits inside the oval. Very, very cute. And I love her bright colors. I was waiting for pink. I was like, okay, Marianne's doing Christmas. We have to get some pink in there. And of course, she did not disappoint. And she also went for the same die, our little fun car carrying its Christmas tree die. Really, really cute. And you can see behind it here, she's layered again several of our new dies. Some of them just barely peeking out. And then she used this fun little 4 1/4 inch wave die as her road. Isn't that cute? It does make a really great road. I didn't think of that when I designed it, but when I saw her card, I was like, of course it's a road. It's perfect for a road. So beautifully done. And let's see, this one here from Linda is super cute. Look at the beautiful little moose. And I love that she's given it, a fun border to draw the eye through the card differently. And then she's did a fun orientation on the new rounded corner die with the fun little, circle borders on it. And again, tying in some of those fun new Holiday Foundation 2 little Christmas trees. Or pine trees. Maybe they're not Christmas in this one. Maybe they're just pine. So, but really cute. And a beautiful color palette too, Linda. Really, really pretty. I like the blues at Christmas. I don't think of them as much, but boy, are they gorgeous. All right. So, and then also just a couple other things that you may have seen launched earlier this month. But also you can see some sneak peeks at some of the new foundation dies in them. Earlier this month, we had our Santa shaker or Santa dies come out, right? Jingle Bells, Santa Claus, with a fun little frame die as well. These could be used as shakers, but they're not including any foam or shaker options, just another fun shape. You could use it however you want. And that one just launched earlier this month. Here's a look at how Marianne used it. Really, really cute. She pulled in the Santa from, I'm trying to remember which kit that is, and I can't off the top of my head. But we have a lot of Christmas kits. It'll come to me afterwards, I'm sure. But I love that she, again, pulled in that pink. And then you can see here the fun little wavy dies from in the 4 1/4 orientation. And then you can see how well the Santa Claus dies actually layer with that nice new fun long and skinny foundation die. Really, really cute. And also from Marianne, using the same set here with our Jingle Bells and the shaker, and then one of our new foundation dies behind. It does a really good job as a placeholder, not just for her shaker, but also for her pretty and big sentiment. So a really fun way to use those. The sentiment is designed so it'll go all the way across your shaker, but I love how it can be used either in or out or on top of the shaker, however you want to use it. So Linda here, she pulled in some beautiful pinks too, but she went with a soft palette. I love the beautiful soft pinks too. Really, really cute. It works beautiful with that beautiful blue pine tree. Gorgeous, Linda, beautifully done. And you can see her fun little collection of snowflakes in matching colors behind her sentiment. So if you haven't had a chance to check out this fun new set, or if you want to add something to get up to your $100 to get your free ombre pearls, these are good things to look at and add. Would be, oh, and then of course this one from Linda, super cute too. I love how she's got Santa kind of like behind her fun little shaker side. That's really cute with the boots sticking out the bottom. Oh, it's really, really fun. So, and you can see again, another one of the new foundation dies here as a background piece, the new foundation accents, and some fun uses of those wavy border dies, including layering them like this. Really, really fun. And the new bubble sentiment stamp too. And then One of the other new ones for Christmas that launched here is the new Dangle Die. This one comes really simple. It just cuts all in one, but you can of course change up the papers and layer things and add to it in ways that make it very versatile. Here's one from Linda where she cut it from multiple different colors and then layered, cut them apart and layered them together. So my guess is that she could make several different cards using this technique, all from just a couple of different dies, which is really, really cute. And then here is a similar card here from Mary Ann, where she cut it from the green, but then other little pieces of it from different colors, and then just layered the different little pieces on top of the green, which is really cute. A great way to tie in extra color schemes. And these are fast and fun cards. Good way to use up some like little tiny leftover embellishments. A good way to add just a few little fun accents. And a quick card, right? Done quickly. And then if you cut them apart, you can have several done all at once. Like here's another one from Linda. Oh, no, wait, same one. There it is. There's another one from Linda here, where maybe she used some of the other pieces left over from the other card, although this one actually looks holographic. So maybe this is more of like the mirrored paper or holographic paper. It's really cute, Linda. Good way to add extra colors without having to have too much work is the holographic paper, because then depending on what angle you're holding it, it's going to shimmer and change in the light. Very, very pretty. And then one more card here from Mary Ann. This really pretty take on like browns and silvers. Really, really gorgeous. Marianne, if you ask me, is the queen of unusual color schemes that turn out absolutely beautiful. So lovely, really nicely done. I love that she pulled in one of these new wreath dies that we released recently. So, and you can see again, one of those new foundation dies in the background there. Just tone on tone, really subtle, and yet it adds a lot of fun movement and texture. So there you go. That is our new set of foundation dies and our new Christmas character set. And I think we have enough time to go through and try to finish making a card together. And I am trying to scan through your comments, but boy, you guys, we have a lot to go through, and I'm trying to finish doing comments and that too. But I'm glad you're enjoying seeing the design team cards, though. Everyone does such beautiful work. Very inspiring. Okay. Oh, Linda, you are here. Good. Hopefully you're answering my questions about the papers. Okay. So let's have some fun playing with the Christmas characters card kit. I thought my favorite shape is probably the snowman. So I'm going to go ahead and pull him out. But I would love to have you drop in the comments. Out of all of the different characters in this kit, do you have a favorite? Let's see, I need a card base. I think I was using it earlier for someone else, and I don't know what I did with it. So let me get a new one. I do my card bases just by folding, by cutting 8.5 by 11 papers in half, and then just folding them. So I always have card bases ready to go by having that cut. I cut whole reams in half at a time. So there's always a card base, easy to find somewhere. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we'll do side by side. You can kind of see what I'm doing. That works. That's on camera. Okay, right? So this particular card is going to be a non-shaker card. So I wanted to show you, again, that the shakers are fun and easy to use, but so are the characters being used as non-shaker cards. So we're going to go with a real fun and simple design. I am pulling out some shapes that I have already pre-cut. I believe this is foundation 26 here on top with our fun new candy cane paper and kind of those fun minty greens and the reds. We're going to lean into that color scheme with this particular card. And let's glue that down to the top center of our card here. I really love this paper. It's my favorite paper from this pad. And again, I didn't think it would be. When I designed it, I liked it. But when I got it in my hands and saw how fun those colors just pop off the black, it's like, yep, that's a favorite. I'm going to use it a lot. I used it plenty in my cards, and I probably use it plenty more coming up here. This die here on the bottom, I believe, is die 26 from foundation set 26. And then we're going to cover that seam in the middle. Let's see if I could find my paper buried here. Let's see. There it is. I believe this is from foundation set 20. Just a little bit of stripes. Not much of this is going to show. It's going to help cover that seam up a little bit and give us just a hint of those stripes. I love how quick and easy the foundation dies just make a card just come together. And that's one example of one of my favorites. Just a couple little dies and you're ready to roll with adding your focal point, your embellishments, and you have a card just about done. Okay, so for this piece here, I'm actually going to use a little bit of foam tape, or I guess since it's so large, a lot of foam tape, depending on how you look at it. And we're going to pop that up a little bit. If you're going to mail it, you might want to leave it flat. But if you hand deliver a lot of cards like I do to friends at church and in the neighborhood and family that live close by, I can afford a little bit of foam tape here. And we'll pop that up and kind of give it a look kind of similar to what I did here. You can kind of see from the side with my little gingerbread baker. You can see that that same die is popped up again just to give it a little bit more dimension and to give it a little bit more texture. Help the elements not to blend in with each other quite too much. Let's see here. Oh, let's go up the middle. I want it to have enough support, but since we're not doing a shaker, it doesn't have to have too much foam tape. Just enough to keep it from sinking in if it gets anything squeezing it from the top. Okay. So there is our new Foundation 40 set decorative die. Like I said, definitely a favorite of mine. Probably going to get a lot of use. We have a lot of really fun dies with those borders cut around them, but for some reason this one just really speaks to me. Really like it a lot. And let's see, down here just a bit more, I think. I'm an eyeballer, but I have to make sure it's just so. I think we're going to go up a little bit more, about here. All right. There we go. And that is going to be our little home base for the snowman we're going to build in just a bit. Before we get to that, let me just glue a little accent here in the upper left corner. This is from Foundation Set 30. And sometimes it's nice just to give yourself a little home for an embellishment, and that's what this little tab piece is going to be here. We'll get a snowflake up there in just a bit. And like I mentioned, we're going to have our snowman kind of like peek out from behind a sentiment. He's not a shaker. But I actually do want to ask everyone's opinion on something first. Let me lay this out so you can kind of see where we're headed here. We have a little snowman die, or die cut character, but he's white, right? His body's white. And so I'm going to pop him up a little bit, but you can see how much he blends in, right? Like he does not stand out very well, right? And so I wanted to put something behind him to help him stand out, but I wasn't sure if we should go like light colored, like this, and have that kind of go behind him. And you'll see he's got a hat and things that will help him stand out, of course. Or should we go more of like leading into the dark colors and put our little snowman on a little dark colored background? Kind of like we're headed like that direction. You can kind of see where I'm wanting to go with that. So drop into the comments which one you like better. And I'm going to scroll. I got to scroll to the bottom. Okay. And let me know, should we pop it off of that dark like that? Or should we have a more subtle choice back there? Maybe I should put his hat kind of on him. You can kind of see there's the hat. Because that does make a difference too, right? Depending on... because you want the hat to show up as well, but I don't think the hat should be too much problem. We can put the hat on a little bit of foam tape too, so it will also pop up. But that's the hat. Like that. So keep that in mind when you're making your decision. Light or dark? Drop it in the comments, and I will go with whatever you all majority vote. So, ooh, lots of votes for dark. Maybe that's all dark. I think all the votes might be for dark. Let me see. I'll check it again in just a second, and we'll go with that. But right now, dark is definitely in the lead. Okay, fun. All right, but first up, let's do a little bit of assembly here on our snowman. You can see he's got this fun little scarf piece. And unfortunately, some of it's going to get hidden because we're going to stamp a sentiment here. And so I'm going to hide some of that scarf behind it. But let's glue that down first. We'll get that on his little body. And I'm going to recommend that when you're assembling your little characters, that you do a little bit of that assembly before you stamp eyeballs, because the eyeballs are easier to gauge where you want them when you have a few of the little pieces of their body or character or whatever assembled first. And it's a little easier to tell where you might want those. So the scarf's going to kind of go behind our little sentiment piece a little bit. Let's see, like that. And the hat has a fun little brim with some stitch marks on it. Like, you don't actually have to cut this piece if you don't want to, but just to give it, again, more texture and a little bit more interest. It has a brim die that you can use just like that. I'm not sure how well it comes across on video, but at least in person, you can see the fun little stitch marks, kind of making it seem a little more, you know, dimensional, a little more three-dimensional or four-dimensional in a way. And so the hat is just a little less boring that way. All right. And of course, he's got his little hands. We'll add them maybe after we stamp his eyeballs. Like that. And then he's also got his little carrot nose. So now that you kind of see how he comes together, it makes it easier to figure out where to stamp his eyeballs. So this is my fun little stamping, much abused and loved stamping platform. And let me pull out my stamp set. On all of my samples, in case you're wondering, I used the smallest eyeballs, but they both look good and you can use either one. But I found I liked the smaller ones a little bit better. So let me pull his body up here. We'll get it onto the platform. And again, like I said, it'll kind of help me know where I want his little eyes to go. You definitely want to have room for his nose and room for his hat. So maybe down just a bit more. Let me use my little tool here. We'll nudge it kind of right where I want it. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Enough room for the hat. Well, maybe down just a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to use my little magnets to hold his body down while I pick up my stamp. We'll get that eyeball picked up, and then I can move the hat out of the way. And let me pull up my black ink. We'll just ink up those little eyeballs. I know some of you like to live dangerously and don't use a stamping platform, but I've never been very successful. I always like to stamp it more than once, right, to get it nice and dark. And without a stamping platform, I always messed up and made it a not so fun mess. So, all right. So there his eyeballs all set. I don't want to smudge them, so we'll give them a second to dry. But let's do the sentiment before I go too much farther with that black ink. So in this kit, one of the sentiments is just simple Merry Christmas, and we're just going to lean right into that and keep it simple. And we'll stamp that right across the middle of this particular die cut, which is from Foundation Set 11. I remember correctly. I use this one a lot. It's a nice, good, long, skinny one that goes almost all the way across your card base. Let's get that centered before I put the magnets down. I like to use these little magnets on here, but it's a little harder to see if you're centered or not once you get the magnets down. So usually I put the stamp first, then the magnets. That looks pretty good. Okay, and gotta find the top here. Here we go. Let's ink that up. We're going to go with black. I like to use a lot of color, but this particular time, with all that black paper, I'm finding that just a plain black ink works pretty well. See, I'm kind of off camera again, aren't I? You can still kind of see. We're just inking a stamp. You don't need to see it, right? All right, let's stamp it. Let's go just a touch darker. Again, the reason why I love those stamping platforms, so I can stamp multiple times over and over and get it nice and dark. and have it turn out perfect every time. Or maybe not every time, most times. Once in a while I've still smudged it or something. I had to do it again. Okay, let's bring our card back down. You can see where we're headed with this now. And okay, so let's go back to your voting. Was it all dark? Did everyone say dark? Oh, some people changed to light because of their hat. Couple of lights, but I think we'll... Okay, I think the vote mostly was dark, so we're going to go with the dark one, but I could see why either one would probably work nicely. Either one's going to make the little guy stand out a little bit. Our little snowman's going to stand out a little bit, right? Okay, let's see. Where do we want that? About there. So let's glue that down. About where we want it. And it doesn't have to perfectly like frame him or anything. It's just enough to give us enough contrast between his body and the background paper that you're not going to have him just completely blending in and getting lost on his background. Not white background. I didn't even notice how I got smudged, but I did get ink on me, didn't I? No one else does that, right? Ink all over your fingers and hands by the time you're done? Nobody does that but me, I'm sure. Okay, so now I'm going to pop this up with a little bit of foam tape as well. It's going to go right across the bottom. Let me just get some simple little pop-up dots here. Be a little bit faster that way. And we're going to pop our snowman just a bit too, again, just for that little tiny bit of separation between him and the background. Even though we have a contrasting color, still like to have that little bit of pop whenever possible. Okay. So we'll peel this off and get it on across the bottom there. And you could put more pop dots if you wanted to make it really, really sturdy, but I find that usually spreading them out is enough. It's usually enough to support most things and keep them looking nice without having to use an entire roll of, or entire sheet of, of your foam dots for one thing. There we go. How cute is that going to be? Okay, so we'll get him down and then we'll pop up our sentiment one more layer higher. Get him on there. And thankfully, the ink on my fingers is dried enough. I didn't smudge onto his cute little, very pure white body there. That's going to, would show just about anything with it being such a light color. It looks like it's fine. I've definitely had to restamp for that reason. Okay, so now one more set of dots across here. And we'll be all set to finish up putting our snowman together and add a few embellishments and his little arms, of course. And then that card will be all done and all set. And then, before we go tonight, I do have a fun little sneak peek of our upcoming Halloween kit. So if you're wondering if you should hang in there, I hope you will, because we have something very fun and exciting coming up for Halloween. Okay, so our little Merry Christmas, let's get that on there. Just like that. Perfect. All right, now let's add his nose and his hat so that he can be complete. And I'm going to get one more foam tab underneath his hat because it's going to hang off the top there and needs a little bit more support. Let's go real close to his eyes. You know, you can add a lot of personality by, especially with this particular kit, if you pay attention to the samples, you can see that by putting noses and hats really close to the eyes, it actually adds a lot of personality. And I like that it kind of just makes it look like they're peeking out or grinning out from underneath various things. So, all right, a little bit of glue here. Get his arms on there. You could cut the arms out from like a brown or whatever, and you can see his arms are going to kind of blend into that black a little bit, but not too badly. It's going to be enough that you can see them. If you want to make it look more like a twig or a stick, you could do the brown. But I thought since we've got that fun black papers, that we'll lean into the black a little bit. There you go. Get his arms on there. All right. And the nose. Let's get that glue down. I love the size of the nose. It's big and oversized again, just kind of adding to the little flair of personality that our little snowman has here. Okay. I'm going to kind of just bring that nose up just a little on the end that's sticking off, just to give it, again, a little hint of dimension there. Okay, now if you go back into my little drawer here, or little, not drawer, my little dish here, you can see I have a couple of snowflakes, and then I have a couple of these little spinners too. If you've looked on the website, you maybe have noticed that we have some spinners on there. And they are kind of a fun little way to add an accent. You know, I like to pop things up, and so the little bit of dimension is perfect for me. And it's going to take a little bit to dry, but I'll show you how I'm going to use a couple of these little spinners on my little snowflakes. So let me take one of these, and I'm going to let it go into the glue. It's going to, like I said, it's going to take some bit to dry. I may have to do a video afterwards, but I'm going to let a little bit of my snowflake go behind each one of these, and then my snowflakes are going to spin, which will be kind of fun. So if you haven't had a chance to look at or play with any of the spinners, just realize that there's all kinds of fun little embellishments or even your focal points that can go on these spinners. Let's see here. And you can use glue dots, you can use all different kinds of things. I have found that actually this is art glitter glue. Really works well for me, even though it takes time to dry. So part of me will like wait for it to dry before I show you the action, but just trust me, it's going to be really cute. So let me get a spinner on there. Get it to stay in there. Well, maybe you'll be able to see the action even before it dries all the way. See how cute that's going to be, right? Let me get just a little more glue here. And then maybe we'll just do just the two. I was going to do 3, but maybe 2 is just right. Normally, I'd probably let the bottom of the spinner dry before adding to the top. Oh, yeah, there you go. You can still see they're on there enough. They spin really beautifully and easily. So mine are prototypes, so I think there's a silver color, but I think the ones on the website are actually a brass. But same concept, same idea. And you can see fun little accents that adds to a card. And then just because, of course, we have to have some bling, I've got a little bit of these fun white pearls in a small size. And we'll just add a few little fun bit of pearls just kind of sprinkled around our little snowflakes here, just for a little bit of extra visual interest. Kind of fun to have a few of them. And that might be enough since we got a lot going on here. Oh, wait, I know where we're going to put the other snowflake. The other snowflake is supposed to go on his hat, right? Let's get that on there with just a little piece of foam tape. Let's see here. Got a small piece just the right size. I'm going to stick that on there. We can move our dish out of the way so I can center this better. We'll skip the spinner on his hat, but certainly you could do that on his hat as well if you want, or maybe just on the hat. But I think that's pretty fun. So there you have it, a fun Merry Christmas card from our cute little snowman from our Christmas characters kit. Okay, so you can kind of see how that all works with your shakers or non-shakers. Another look at a snowman in a couple different ways. Look at the Santas. Anyhow, like I said, I do have a little bit of a sneak peek from our Christmas, or from our upcoming Halloween kit. If you've been on the website, you've probably seen that it is called the Broomstick Bakery. And I wanted to show you 2 of the shakers that will be included in that kit. One of them actually being a bakery with a chance for a shaker window and some fun little treats you can put into your bakery, as well as we have an apocryphy jar here with some candies in it. And that's just 2 of of a whole set of very fun new shakers we have coming out for Halloween. I love that we have this tiny little, much smaller. You've probably seen we've had broomsticks in other kits, but this one's small enough that it can be a little accent on this one. Our other ones are much larger and things. But Broomstick Bakery coming up soon, and you can check out the paper pad for that kit on the website and know that that is one of our upcoming kits. All right, I will go through and scroll and try to answer any questions that didn't get answered by other people in the chat. But that is all I have for tonight. Just want to remind you that if you haven't done your shopping yet, we do have a bunch of very fun discounts going on site-wide, as well as a free with purchase item. And you can see more of the details about how that works on the website. But I hope you all enjoyed being here tonight. I hope you are having fun thinking about getting your Christmas card started. And I'm just really grateful we got to hang out together tonight. Look forward to doing it again sometime soon. So everyone have a fabulous night and happy card creating. Good night.